So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hi, villains, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Today we have our team sheet tantrum. Sorry, I'm trying to get my microphone into a position where I'm comfortable with. Not trying to do a Stone Island thing where I'm trying to show off the badge or anything like that. I'm just trying to get into a position where I'm comfortable. I feel like I'm kind of off center or something. Am I always off center? I don't know. It feels petty. Do I look weird in the camera apart from the fact I'm wearing a hat?
No.
No? It seems weird. I don't know. When I'm looking at myself here on the screen, it seems like I don't know. Anyway, less about well, yeah, it is because I don't have the lights on here. I just have the mounted light here, and I just pull back the blind here, so I've got the full natural light coming in. Anyway, less of this, less of the feng shui. We're less of the feng shui. That's not what we came here to talk about. Aston Villa play Stevenage today in the FA Cup round 3, and I'll be honest with you, Paddy, when Stato earlier on shared or yesterday or whenever we did the pre-match shared the statistic that we haven't won in 7 years, or we haven't progressed past 7 years. And then when Ashley Priest shared today that it was Remy Gard was the last manager that took us into the 4th round, my mind nearly exploded.
I thought it was before that. Yeah, did we not get was our last win not the semi-final against Liverpool?
It probably was. That's 2015.
Yeah. Well, surely Remy Gard took us forward then. If he won a game, he took us to the 4th round.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Anyway, either way, for a club of our size, leaving aside the time in the Championship, it's not good enough, and it's refreshing that we're not looking at a game against Man United.
When we were in the Championship, Paddy, because we were competitive. We should have been competitive in the Championship. You see, what Cardiff are doing to Leeds inside there at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wrexham versus, it's the magic of the 3rd round. And that's something we need to guard against today. We really need to guard against.
Absolutely, yeah. I messaged you yesterday and
this morning.
Missed you this morning as well, and when I saw Leeds conceding 2 goals, it's just that illogical fear that you're going, by any stretch of the imagination, we should not be losing this game today. But all it takes is one slip, one mess up, one bad cog on the team that he picks, and we go about losing the game or drawing the game, which we could probably do without having to have a replay. So all of that leads me to think that we won't be completely weakened today. I do see a little change, a little shake up. Yeah, maybe some players are going to start that wouldn't normally start. I think we might see Coutinho starting if Ramsey. If Ramsey is fit enough, he might start to give him an hour in the legs or whatever. So, yeah, it is a worrying thing, and it's gone from being a team sheet that I wasn't really worried about to one that I'm very worried about now.
Yeah, I think so too. And Rob Henry, do you know what? This categorizes it for me as well. Where's it gone to? Won or lost in the headspace today? I think so for sure, because I don't think there's any reason that any player that goes out there today should be minding themselves. I don't think there's any reason any player that goes out there today, even if we do start the likes of let's just say, the only person that I would give a bit of leeway to and grace, or the only people I would be if somebody like a Josh Feeney or a Caden Young, because this is one of the biggest moments. This would be one of the biggest moments of their lives, their young lives so far. And you could forgive them for being nervous or timid. For anybody else, this is a regular routine day. And it's the reason is it's like cup competitions, and you're playing against a team that's what was it? Someone did mathematics there, how many league places they are below us in the pyramid. It doesn't really matter. You're still playing up against 11 men, and 11 men can outperform themselves on any given day. You see it. You see, like Mike Tyson was never supposed to have been stopped, and then he got stopped. And there's always players that are never supposed to be beaten, and then they get beaten in single sports. So happens every day of the week.
I know. I watched Wrexham and Coventry yesterday. I watched every minute of it, and I enjoyed every minute of it. So I know there's a bigger game on at the same time as us, but those 3rd round purists will probably watch us as opposed to watching Chelsea and Man City. So there'll be a lot of people shouting at their screen for Stevenage to do us over, I'm sure. But hopefully it won't come to that, and hopefully we can score early and score often.
Yeah, absolutely. There's about 5 minutes to the game. I've seen a couple of people asking for where they can watch the game. Now, obviously, we are not going to. We don't want to. Do not share any links in here. Please do not. It has a very detrimental effect on the podcast here. But the game is being shown in various parts of the world. Okay, it's on BBC iPlayer and BBC Red Button for those of you in the UK. In Australia, you'll find it on Paramount Plus. Canada, you're also going to find it on Sportsnet Now Premium, whatever that is when it's on. Malaysia, if there's anybody here from Malaysia, you'll find it on Astro Supersport 1. Well, I know if Ross, if you're listening in from South Africa, if there's any of the South African lines are listening in, you'll find it on Supersport Variety 3. And for all our good fans in the US of A, it's on ESPN Plus. So that's where you'll find the game today. Yeah, so I'm hoping here in Ireland, Paddy, and I don't know, I haven't had it confirmed yet. I'm not sure we're going to get the red button in Ireland on BBC.
I don't know either. I haven't really had a look at it yet, but it's usually a job for after the team sheet Tantrum to try and find it a way of watching it. But doesn't always work out with games like this. You know, same with third round or fourth round Carabao Cup games. They're hard to find. So the fact that it's on in so many channels around the world, we might be able to pick it up on this.
We just drive over the border up into Coleraine or somewhere like that, and we drive up to John McBride above in Coleraine, and we'll turn on his BBC and get to see it on BBC iPlayer there. We might be able to do that too.
We probably should have left a couple of hours ago.
I think there's a flight from Knock. I'll rob a plane or something. Yeah. So I had a talking point. Oh my God, I did have a talking point there that I wanted to go through because there's something that popped into my head. Can't remember. I was going down through. Yes, so I was talking about the younger players, and we have spoken about younger players. And you know what? It's going to be really interesting today because we have had the 3 games or the 4 games that we played in the mini off season that we had in the middle of the World Cup. Arjun Reiki was somebody who was very heavily fancied in midfield. Maybe he gets a run out today. I don't envisage we're going to see Marvelous Nakamba. I actually feel he's going to be somebody who's going to be out the door pretty soon. We may see somebody like Sanson, as we alluded to in the pre-match show as well. But you know what? My heart goes out to a couple of players because, and don't get me wrong, like when Stephen Gerrard was here, you could nearly put in probably in pen and not in pencil that Tommy O'Reilly will probably play this game today. But where does he fit in within this new managerial structure? Where does he fit in within this new technical setup? It'd be interesting as much to see the bench as it will be the players out there today because, like you, Paddy, I think he's going to go with experienced pros. I think it's going to be Olsen. I think it's going to be Ashley Young is going to play this game. I think that a left back will be Augustinsson. You could put in the two reserve centre halves of Bednarak and Chambers. They should be able to front up here in this game. Midfield then could be a mixture of Sanson. It could be maybe Sanson, Reiki, and take your pick then from maybe you have JJ and Coutinho, and then up top you could have Danny Ings and another. You know, so there are ways to skin this cat today by going with I'm going to say accomplished names in the team as opposed to loading up at youngsters. But I do think there'll be a splattering of young in there for sure.
There will be one or two. The team that won't have a splattering of young people is Stevenage because a lot of their players are quite old in comparison to ours. They're all in their late 20s, apart from the goalkeeper unknown from Fulham, as I said the other night. They play with 3 centre halves, which will, when they're under pressure, revert to a 5-3-2 or a 5-4-1, which I expect them to line up against us. But those centre halves, there's a lot of goals coming from that centre half, so that's what my fear is with this team. So we've got to be careful with giving away set pieces because they're big brutes of centre halves that are well able to score goals, albeit at non-league level. But we know what we're like from corners.
League 2 level.
League 2 level, sorry. So we know what we're like at defending corners and set piece. That needs to change. So we don't want to be giving them away today.
Come on, Aston Villa. Where is our team sheet? There it is. Everybody cover your ears because we have a team alert. The team is up. Yeah, and look at that. Dunworth has gone and done it again. He's more. Oh no, he didn't. I got some of them right. I didn't get all of them right, but let me share my screen. Here we go. So the team is out. It's Olsen, Cash, Chambers, Bednarak, Augustinsson, Sanson, Dendonker, Douglas Luiz, Coutinho, Bailey, and Ings. No messing around there. Bench is Emi Martinez, Mings, Buendia, Watkins, Ashley Young, Dina, Ramsey, Kamara, and Caden Young. No messing around on the bench either. Talk about pinning your colours to the mast, Unai, because what you've done there is you've said, screw them all. Let's go and win. We're in it. We might as well go and win the fucking thing. You know?
Yeah.
So fair play. Like, and you know, Danny Ings, captain, Paddy. I'm sure off camera you did a dance there during the team alert.
Well, what it does tell me is that he's a lot of faith in Danny Ings. I know he's come out during the week and more or less said he's not for sale. You know, there's other players there. Cash could have been captain. He's there longer than Ings. Douglas Luiz could have been captain. So yeah, it's a good indication of what he feels for Danny Ings. So yeah, I'm happy with the team. I'm happy that team will go and do a fairly good job. So yeah, it's nailed his colours to the mast. I'm delighted to see Olsen get another shot after his clean sheet against Spurs. And it's also his birthday today, so happy birthday, yes. Robin Olsen.
Happy 33rd birthday, I think it is, Robin Olsen, 32nd or 33rd.
34, I think.
Oh, no, he's not that old. Jesus. We put him past you at that stage. I'm delighted though. No, delighted there's some names in there. I'm delighted to see Sanson get another run. I think that this is shop window stuff for him because, as I say, I feel he wants to leave. It just wasn't a very good fit for him as a club. Delighted to see. I'm interested now actually to see Coutinho. I think everybody is. And look, we all want Leon Bailey to crack a few of them in today. I think it'll be great for his confidence after what happened the last time. And obviously Danny Ings wants to keep up his scoring spree under Unai Emery. So there's a lot of people with a lot of things to play for here in this team. And as I said, there's no messing, absolutely no messing around here. Go out, get the result. Yes, we have changed personnel in there, but like you go down through this team, Olsen, international, Cash, international, Chambers has an international cap, Bednarak, international cap, Augustinsson, international cap, Sanson doesn't, as far as I'm aware, then Donker does, Luis does, Coutinho does, Bailey does. Does Ings? Danny Ings play for England? Danny Ings play for England?
I think he might have a couple of caps.
Does he? Talk amongst yourselves. He does, yeah. He's 3 caps.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember there. It's escaped my mind. So look, we have a team of internationals. No excuses, as people say. No excuses, even though rotated. And guys, think about this as well. We lament our squad, and sometimes rightly so, because sometimes we don't get the squad rotation right. And sometimes we don't get squad rotation as fans. I certainly don't get it. At times. It pisses me off, to be honest, at times when we start rotating the squad for no good reason. But over the last 3 years, I think that while we've brought in players that may have been ineffectual in moving us up the league, we've built a squad that is very much Premier League quality, and that's a minimum expectation. Don't get me wrong, but there was times when we didn't have that. There was times where we very much didn't have that. There are players there that we can agree on and we can disagree on. There's players that are linked with Aston Villa that we can agree on and we can disagree on as well. More recently, that we won't get into today because that isn't what this podcast is about. Unless we really have nothing else to talk about, we might get into it, but I don't particularly want to because I think there's a lot more nuanced conversation than a 5-minute snippet here and there with regards to the 2 players that we've been mentioning with today as well. But you look at this team; it's a team full of internationals. It's a team full of players that would get into teams in the top 5 leagues in Europe, and as I say, that's I sometimes wake up and I believe that we might be finished with loaning our players to Turkey as the only way of getting rid of them. That makes sense. Nothing wrong with Turkey, the Turkish league. Don't get me wrong, but it seems to be the outlet for us to discard some of our players. And there are 1 or 2 players in that we have on loan. If I'm not mistaken, isn't Bertie still on loan? I wouldn't mind seeing him come back and see if he can do 1 or 2 things here. But I think once again, just like with Sanson and certain other players like Gilbert, maybe Nakamba, I think sometimes players just say, listen, my career needs something different, and that's fine too. Everybody has to look out for themselves, and they're more than entitled to do that too as well. We might have a look at the Stevenage team because I'm just really interested to see if Darren Horgan is starting. So if you guys don't mind,
he's not starting. He's cup tied.
Oh, he's cup tied. You're right. He is cup
The
tied.
two signings that they made on Friday are cup tied, so he won't be playing.
Okay, well that probably goes to show, yeah, that it's
Let's not forget that it's important that we go on cup runs because you know I know it's not going to be a full house by any means in Villa Park today, but you know if we get a home draw in the next round against a decent team, that's a nice little cash injection. If we win that, it's another cash injection. We just got to hope for home draws because we want to go and win everything we can. So it's great that he's taken this seriously. He is a cup specialist, as we know. So he knows how to get a result in the cup. He's been really good everywhere he's managed. So I'm delighted that he's put that team together, and it'll be interesting to see how we do today.
I was going to share up the Stevenage team, but I do have to apologise to everybody. They've only gone and done it and gone numerically, and I'm not going to butcher what way the team is going to line out. So I'm going to share the team. You guys, if you guys know where the players play, like as I say, wholly my fault. But at the same time, I want them to accept some blame as well because they've put it numerically. But it looks like, based on the numbers that they've used, they're going with a strong team. With regards that they've gone 2 all the way up to 9, only missing 10 and 11, and they've got some players there. There's a guy on the bench that Michael Bostwick. And if I don't know, do people remember him? Had one of the most fantastically outrageous beards at one stage. I think when he was playing with, was it Exeter? I can't remember who it was. Lincoln, I think it might have been Lincoln City, but had a really good career. He's in his 30s now. I'd say he's about 33 or 34, but he's a bit of a Stevenage legend. And he's back with them again this year. He's on the bench. And he's one of those players that could come on in the FA Cup today and could rattle a few fellas there in midfield because he's a tough tackling defensive midfielder in there as well. So, and David Amu, or is it Ryan Amu or David Amu? Do we ever remember? I got that wrong the last time.
Ryan Amu is the one that played for us. It's not him. He's retired at this stage. The two names you got to look out for there, Pierre Gianni and Sweeney, are the two boys for the corners. I think they've got 7 or 8 goals between them from corners this season already. So they're the two of the 3 centre halves. I think Reeves is the other one, and then James Wilden and Clark are the 2 wing backs. And it's Norris that plays up front, I think.
Well, with number 9, he's back. You'd hope so.
Memory serves me correct. Yeah. So that's how the back 4 or 5 will line up anyway. And Ashby Hammond, as I said, is on loan from Fulham, so he's no mug either. He's a decent goalkeeper. So yeah, look, it won't be a pushover, but we've got a strong enough team to go and really give this a rattle today. And I'd love to see goals.
Norris has a 1-3 record, more or less, since his time in Stevenage. So, also played with Swindon, Colchester, Gillingham. So once again, lower league specialist, but he scored goals everywhere he's been. He's 29 years of age now, but as I say, he's their striker. He's going to be that out-and-out striker as well.
Happy says the penalty to Leeds.
Penalty to Leeds. Let's look at a couple of your comments there, guys. We'll just pop them up there as well, and we'll take a look at those because we've neglected those today. Where are we? So Matsy says Dendoncker and Bednarak add height. Exactly. I think that's a very important point. Dendoncker and Bednarak do add height, and I think we will need height because we will need to be very, very cautious from set pieces. Paddy says. If anybody remembers the wonderful Kidderminster Harriers run last season, a lot of that was some really good football, and they should have beaten West Ham. That would have been an absolute brilliant scene if they did. They should have beaten West Ham, and unfortunately they didn't. But a lot of teams will try and get set pieces. It's nothing new. Anybody who's watched football over the last 40 years will understand that. And having that height in Dendoncker and Bednarak will be good. We should never be caught in behind today. There shouldn't be any player in the team on the field for Stevenage that should be able to run us ragged, as in get in behind us at will, like teams have done in the Premier League, even with our high line so far. So we should be able to cope with that and compensate with that for Dendoncker and Bednarak. We should be able to pack down in midfield. And I'm going to make a bold prediction today, Paddy. Matty Cash is going to get a goal. I don't know why. I'm just feeling the Matty Cash love for a goal recently. I don't know what it is.
It
Don't know
is
what
a
it
very
is.
bold, very bold statement. He doesn't score an awful lot, but and especially as we're going to see him at right back, aren't we? Surely,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think so too. Yeah. I want to give a shout out as well. It's something I forgot to do at the top of the show. Michael Kiernan and his son Warren. Michael is taking his son Warren to his first game at Villa Park today. I always love to hear that, especially when somebody is coming over here from Ireland to to grow that Villa fan base. And I just want to give him a shout out. First day in Villa Park, magic of the FA Cup. Hopefully, we have a fantastic game for him today. Hopefully, like Coutinho, Bailey, Danny Ings go wild for him and he remembers it forever. I just wanted to give him a shout out there because, as I say, hopefully he's listening to the podcast. And if you get to hear your name, Warren, I hope it puts a smile in your face too. And like that, likewise for anybody else who's their first game today, the FA Cup I've not been to an FA Cup game ever. So,
Really?
no, I've never been to an FA Cup game. I've been to loads of League Cup games. Never been to an FA Cup. Do you know why, Paddy? Because we always get beat in the third round. That's why. That's why I never.
Well, that's only lately. It hasn't always been that way. I've managed
Paddy,
to get
we've drawn Man United enough times now for me
Yeah.
to give up wanting to even source a ticket in the third round. To be honest with you,
I'm not that much older than you, and I've been to 2 FA Cup finals. So it's not when you think about it, as people think that our club is a small club dreaming big. We've been to 2 FA Cup finals in the last 20 years. So, there is there's absolutely every opportunity to go and win this, as we saw in 2015. Unfortunately, we didn't show up on the day. So it's a big opportunity to go, and we've been waiting since 1957 to win this trophy. So
exactly, Jay Dixon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sansa number 8, just in case anybody forgotten what number he was. Hasn't played in quite a while. Been on the missing list. Can I ask a question? Is it me or is the printing off?
This is the non-Premier League printing that you're looking at.
No, I know the printing, the font. What is it printed skew with?
Yeah, but the jersey is probably hanging on a hanger, so
that
could be just.
We give him the benefit of the doubt, Paddy. I just don't want a Wolves fuck up like it was with Semedo's crest.
Don't be giving out about Danson. We give out about him enough over the years.
No, I'm not. This is the thing. I'm like saying, come on, like if it's a graphic, it's a graphic. If it's the actual printed jersey, and I'm not sure it is the printed jersey itself. If it's just a graphic, it's a graphic. But it just, I don't know. Maybe it could be the lines. And as you say, look, we'll put it this way: between my poor lighting at the moment, and this, we'll put it down to it's a me issue, okay, as opposed to anything else. We'll put it down to it's a me issue. I just wanted to put that one up. But yes, number 8, this new guy, trialist Sanson, will be starting at number 8 today. And mark your copybooks on him because I think he's going to be the next big thing, for sure. Where else are we? Really random review says, love the full strength. Pretty much you and I, not messing around here for sure. Kieran, of course, always listening in. Thank you so much, Kieran. Paying Stevenage a lot of respect at that team. Rightly so too. Going strong and show intent. And I'm a big fan of hit teams early, and then if you can get up 1 or 2 goals, then you can retreat to the bench afterwards. I presume it's only sorry, I know the answer. I nearly asked a stupid question there regards to the amount of subs that can be had in the FA Cup. So considering that Stevenage only have 5 named in the bench, 5 substitutes would be.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, which it shows how probably threadbare their squad is. So yeah, and we've gone full strength, which is great.
Exactly. Michael Huggins, good to see you, Michael. Never miss the show. Thank you so much. There are no excuses for a starting 11 today, and I hope you enjoy the show in the Red Brick Palace today, Michael. Matt C says, surprising Luis plays. He didn't look fit last game. Yeah, I would say he was probably the only name that surprised me on the team today. But as I say, yeah, look, we trust the sports scientist. We trust Unai Emery, and he might be one of the players. I would imagine he won't go past the 60-minute mark in this game at all.
Yeah. Do you want to see my favourite comment of the day?
Ooh.
Soupy Mark says his granddad drove the Villa coach to Wembley in 1957. Wow. That's a great bit of history, isn't it?
That is mad. That's brilliant. Did you mention that to us before, Supermark, or am I just
Something in
having
my
a
head,
deja
yeah,
vu
he
moment?
may have done. He
Yeah,
may have
I'm
done.
having a deja vu moment. I'm still
Yeah.
as impressed with it now as I was if I did see it again. Don't get me wrong, but I just kind of got one of those deja vu. What's with me in these different feelings today? I don't know what it is. I'm in my feels today. Jude McCarthy, good to see you, Jude. He said Bailey given a chance to redeem himself. Hope he's found his shooting boots. And look, as I say, this is good smart man management from Unai Emery. From a confidence point of view, if someone's confidence is low on the floor, get them opportunities, give them opportunities, build their confidence up, and I think that's good smart man management for him as well. This is a really interesting one from Rob Henry that apparently it says in the match program is Stevenage or Aston Villa's 99th opponent in the FA Cup. I suppose when you're around as long as we are, that you tend to rack those ones up in the FA Cup as well. So it's and I wonder, are Stevenage, it's an interesting one. I wonder, are they counting Stevenage as a different team after they rebranded from Stevenage Borough? I wonder. Do you know the way there's those kind of idiosyncrasies that you kind of see?
I wouldn't
Is
imagine so, but we've never played them anyway, so we never
yeah,
played
that's
Stephen
true.
Borough either. So either way,
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
Daniel Hobson says I would have played Miggs alongside Bednarek, a leader, and I think Stevenage will be direct. Yeah, there's an argument for sure to be made for that. I think there is an
Yeah.
argument. I still think Chambers and Bednarek should be capable of dealing with any balls into the box or any balls over the top. I think they should be, but let's just see. Should I say? Matt Parker asks, where on the pitch is Sanson playing? I would say he's going to play in the. That's actually a good question.
Yeah, I'd say it'd be Sanson on the right and Coutinho on the left in that
Yeah,
two behind the striker
I
that he
think
has
it
been
has
playing.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it kind of has to. Where else are we?
Is it true that Ashley Young is from Stevenage?
Ashley Young is from Stevenage. He is indeed. And
Yeah.
I think as well, remember, just completely off topic slightly as well, I think I remember saying that Ashley Young and Lewis Hamilton were in the same class in school.
Were they?
There's a talented, same year or same form or whatever. I don't know what you guys call it over in the UK. We call it class over here anyway. So I remember reading something like that. Yeah, he's from Stevenage. Did Leeds score that penalty, by the way, everybody?
No, it was missed or saved.
Saved, missed it. That'll
Yeah.
tell you how far back in the comments I am. Yeah, that's an interesting one as well. Steve Evans looking for a selfie with Emmy Martin, his World Cup medal. Emmy Martin was on loan, wasn't he? It's at Stevenage. Didn't someone say that recently as well? I've had a hectic week, as you can tell, guys. It's been a hectic week. I've done loads of different podcasts, but I haven't had enough time to look into Stevenage at all or any links that we've had. No, he didn't. I'm talking through my absolute
That's what I was thinking.
about him playing with Stevenage, so that's absolutely fine. That's
Oxford
okay
was
too.
the big one he had, wasn't it?
Oxford was the one he had too, yeah.
Yeah.
Where else are we? I don't know. Sorry, lads.
Here's one from Aidan.
Yes.
He's hoping that Bailey gets the match ball. I think that would do wonders for his confidence. We said it the other night in the preview. I think if we can get goals today and get them through him, it would be brilliant for his confidence.
Ronan, that's a scurrilous lie. My love of Paul McGrath beanie hat is here somewhere, but I didn't want to look like. If anybody's seen Wayne's World, and when the guys signed a deal with Reebok and Dr. Pepper, Wayne and Garth, and then Garth is just dressed all in Reebok gear. I didn't want to look like Garth from Wayne's World by wearing it. For the love of Paul McGrath hat with the flag behind me here and the shirt that I didn't want to be a walking billboard. So there was a frantic. I was actually going to go in and maybe brush my hair, and I said, "No, it'd be easier throwing a hat." So there was a frantic look around for this orange hat, which I found over there as well somewhere. So look, I suppose, guys, there are a few surprises within the team sheet. There are a few things that we can all agree on, but I think the biggest thing that we will all agree on here is that there's no prisoners being taken with regards to this. Strong team out from Unai Emery, giving Stevenage the respect that they deserve. Unai Emery, it seems like he's a very honourable person from the point of view if he respects the game of football. He understands that it gives you nothing for free and it takes everything for when it wants it in return. Like his own career, career was cut short. So he understands the follies of football and how cruel it can be. And I'm sure that, being a cup specialist, he probably puts more pressure on himself for something like the FA Cup than maybe the board would do, or to some extent a portion of our fans would do as well. But I think it's great that we're respecting this competition. I think it's great that we're putting out a good team, but a good team doesn't always result in a good result. So we got to put that performance on the field today. And I'm expecting silky, flowing, fireworky football today, like we saw at times against like how we went forward against the likes of Liverpool, and how we went forward at times in the second half against Wolves. And I'm expecting Villa to try things today and to kind of, be prepared to pull both triggers on both barrels today to try and get a result. So that's why I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's an experiment. I expect a win. I want to win. Above all else, you got to remember that 1957 is a long time ago. There's 3 or 4 generations that have never seen us win an FA Cup. There's 3 or 4 generations never seen us win a cup. Full stop. So obviously, if you were born before 1996 or weren't following football before 1996, that's the last time we won a big trophy. So it's so easy. As you can see with the poor team we had to get there in 2015, it's so easy to get there if the right draw goes your way.
Yeah.
Also, the draw is actually coming up very shortly. It's on after this game.
Yeah.
That's on live at the moment, so we'll know before we play who we have in the next round.
Yeah.
It should be in that game, that is. So it's something to look forward to. I hate having FA Cup weekends when we're not playing and the team that we're supposed to play is not around. So by all means, go on a run, get to the final, win the bloody final. That's what we want more than anything, is silverware. That's what Emery does best, is win cups. So let's trust him and see how it goes.
Exactly. A couple of people asking where can we watch this game in Ireland. The wonderful John Bradish there in the comments has sent me this. This is from Sky. So if you cannot find the red button on BBC, you can pause this later and you can see the instructions there on how to get the red button on your Sky. I presume this is all legit because it's on the Sky Sport. It's on the Sky box. So if you have Sky, that's how you can get the red button on the BBC player there as well. Not going to hold it up for too long. You can go back and you can press pause, because I know that you're all watching this here, so I don't want you to leave and go and do it now and leave us here on the podcast. So while you guys are just settling in for the game, anyone want to pop in their scores? I see them popping. I see them shooting up here, and we'll do a quick read through them as well. I haven't come down on what score I think is going to happen today, but I'm going to be heavily influenced by what you guys think. So Leeds 2-2. I backed the Leeds to come back and draw 2-2 and bring it to a replay. So this has been a last half hour.
Sonny Perkins has scored in the 93rd minute. He only came on in the 86th minute and has scored an equaliser in the 93rd minute. Sorry. Yes.
Wow.
There you go.
Good player. Was supposed to. Villa were heavily linked with him under Stephen Gerrard to bring him into the rotation there in the academy. Yeah. So. I know West Ham fans were absolutely distraught that he left too. So good to see him making the headlines. Albeit I would have liked for us to do it, for him to do it here with another claret and blue jersey on, the correct claret and blue jersey, the real one. God, it's getting really dark here. Couple of results coming in here. We're going to start the countdown on results because I might disappear from the screens altogether. It's getting so dark. So we've got Daryl Bogg. Thank you so much. 3-1 to Villa. Ings, Bailey, and Coutinho to score. Daniel Hobson 3-0 with 2 late goals. With 2 net goals, nervier than it sounds. Be happy, 4-1, big win. I would love that. John Steele says 4-0. Gaz says 2-2. I don't know whether that's in reference to Leeds or whether that's in reference to this game. Danielle says 3-1. Lee Johnson going for the juggler with a 6-0. I love it. 1-0 says Sean Gohan. 1-0 last 5 minutes. Ings goal. Mr. Nicky Cullen says comfortable 3-0. Be happy says 4-1 Villa. Ings hat trick. Oh, hi, you're making don't threaten Paddy with a good time with stuff like that. Jordy Villain says, is it fair to do a 90-minute score? Maybe just 45 minutes. 6-0 after 45 minutes, says Jordy Villain. I love it. Tuan, good to see you. 4-1 Aston Villa. 4-1 to Villa, says Simon Haswell. Rob Henry says 6-3. Kahua Gaming. Vinny, if you guys didn't catch our pre-match show, we had Vinny on from Kahua Gaming. And we had a great chat with him there. He says 3-0. Aidan D says 4-0, the Leon Bailey show featuring Sanson and Coutinho. Rachel says 3-1 to Villa. Jonathan says 4-2 to Villa. Gaz says 3-1 to Villa. So that was in reference to the Leeds game. Johnny 5 Fit says 3-1 to Villa. Kingy Game says 4-0 Villa today. Sanson, Coutinho, Ings and Bednarak. Anne O'Grady's going with 3-1 as well. British Mick thinks it's going to be a tricky 3-2. Love Bleed says a 2-1. And then Johnny Boy says 7-0. I'd love a 7-0. I'd love a 7-0, but as I say, they're earned. They're not given in the FA Cup for sure. Sarko says 1-0. Justin W says 3-0 with a cash goal. Said I like Shark Spray. Haven't seen you around in ages. 10-0. That's the optimism I've come to love from Shark Spray. Good to have you. Hidden Poker says 5-0. Matt Parker is predicting a rout 7-0. And Christopher Hammond 3-0. Villa Boys Little Phil to score first. And Darryl Bogg is feeling it today. He's feeling the optimism. Villa FA Cup winners 2023. Believe in Unai Emery. Super John McGinn lifts the FA Cup. And we'll all take a week off work afterwards. That's what we'll do collectively. There won't be. What do they famously do in Birmingham? Usually here in Ireland, they say there won't be a cow milk for a week after if any team wins any championship or any title. They say there won't be a cow milk for a week.
You know what the great thing about this FA Cup final is, Neil, that for us in Ireland, it's on a bank holiday weekend this year on the 3rd of June.
Yes,
and it'll be a nice long weekend to recover after a great day out. So yes, absolutely. I really want this to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We had a bunch of 300 people there. If you haven't pressed the thumbs up on this, please do. I'll just stop here while you do it. You won't miss anything. Dead air on the podcast. Just all you gotta do is click the thumbs up. That's all you gotta do. Excellent, you're a sound bunch. And if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, just click the subscribe button. It costs you nothing at all. Caroline Collins,
we're very positive.
Very positive. I'd say you were putting up with an awful lot last night, Caroline.
Caroline's birthday too, so happy birthday, Caroline. Exactly. I hope you had a great day yesterday.
Happy birthday, Caroline, indeed. So yeah, thanks very much, everybody. Really love you. We'll be back with a post-match at 6:25. I think I've got the post-match in for. But we will be back. If you are subscribed, hit the notification button. You'll be notified before we go live as well, 30 minutes before we go live. So join us again for the post-match. I'll be breaking it down probably on my own because the wonderful Patrick has things to attend to. But yeah, hopefully this is a great game. Get settled, get watching it, go back and pause it. If you're in Ireland, pause this and look at how to get the red button. But I hope you enjoy the game and I hope Villa give us something to cheer for. We'll see you later. Be safe, be healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.